James here. This is my 500-mile KBO Ranger review. I'm actually a little over 500 miles at this point. I'm at 555. I've had it for 43 days, so I've been riding it approximately 13 miles per day. However, I didn't really start riding it until the beginning of March. I got it in mid-February. At this point, this bike is my daily driver. I use this for almost everything. Trips to like Home Depot or something where I need to transport bigger stuff, I'm still using my car. But I wanted to share my thoughts on this so people can get an opinion on whether this bike might be for them. I did make some notes so that I just don't forget to cover anything. If you find this useful, please like and subscribe. That'll help me out. Number of things I wanted to cover about this bike. The most surprising thing for me about having this bike is how much people notice you. I did want the orange so that you'd be visible, but I mean, literally, I've had people yelling out of their cars, "Nice bike," and if I have my kids on the back and the dog, I have people, saying how cute. I have people asking me about the bike. So I'm actually kind of introverted. That's very unusual for me. So that took a little getting used to, but everyone seems to love the bike when they see it. And I do love the bike as my, daily commuting tool. Riding it, the most frustrating thing that I found with the bike, and there really hasn't been a lot, but is what I call the flop. This bike has a 2-point kickstand, so when you've got it propped up, and right now where I've got it situated, you can't really see it, but the front wheel will be up, and this will actually turn like that. It was kind of annoying. I actually have a video where I have a $5 solution using some springs that will keep the wheel straight. Not a major issue by any means. The performance of the bike, I mean, it's great. You can unlock it. There are videos on YouTube where they'll show you how to unlock it, and it will go, I go about 25 when I've got it unlocked. You do use a lot more battery going at higher speeds, but it has a lot of pickup and go. I also have a KBO Breeze. There's a lot less acceleration there. We also have electric XP, and this is more on par with that than the KBO Breeze as far as, get up and go. No problems there. After using it for a while, if you're looking to buy an e-bike, you've kind of got to decide what you're going to do with it. Who's this bike for? This is a cargo bike, so it does have a lot of weight capacity to the bike. I believe it's 400 pounds. It's got a huge rear rack, and in this price range, less than $2,000, when I decided to purchase this, there was no other offering. Himaway has come out with a big dog, I believe they call it. It's not yet shipping. They're actually manufactured by the same company in China called Haidong. You can Google it and find out more info about that. The big dog has a little bit bigger battery, and it has a front suspension. Those are the two main differences I noticed. It comes with a smaller rack, it looks like, and it's about $400 more. Would love to test that one out, but this has been great for me so far. If you are someone who's just going to be, going around town sometimes or whatnot, this may be overkill for you. I mean, it's a lot of bike. It's not very, large. It does have the 20-inch wheels. You're low to the ground. It's very comfortable, but you may get away with something like the electric XP if you're just riding for fun, on the weekends or something like that. Save yourself a little bit of money. As far as comfort, I've found the bike to be pretty darn comfortable. I did replace the stock seat with a Cloud 9, and I've actually got some handlebar extensions on order just to raise this up a bit. I did notice on my longer travels that I was feeling a little bit of discomfort, on my upper thighs, and I found that it's because I'm leaning forward just a little bit and scooting my butt forward on this seat. So the handlebar extensions will, push that back a little bit. Overall, I feel very comfortable on the bike, riding it around. One thing I did notice, and I've got this issue with all three of the electric bikes that we use here in my family, when I'm at speed, I can't take my hands off the wheel or off the handlebars on any of them because they'll start to wobble back and forth. All three of them are step throughs, so I believe the issue probably has to do with, once I've lifted my hands off the handlebars, there's a lot less weight here, holding this front end down, and then with the fat tire, it'll wobble a little bit. When I'm actually riding, I don't feel any kind of pull at all. For the range on this, I actually have not done a real range test on it. I have zero range anxiety as I'm riding it. I did try just the other day to, get a feel for it. I'm going fast generally. I've got it unlocked and I'll go, 25 where it's safe to do so. But on the display, you can look and see how much current you're drawing. And when I'm doing that, I'm drawing a lot more current than if I was just going like 18 miles per hour. Riding it the other day, and the way I normally did, I had done 34 miles, and my battery was at 42 volts at that point. Once it gets down to 40 volts, it's going to cut off on you. So at some point, I'd like to do a long range test at a leisurely pace. I just need to find the time to do that. The one thing I do wish I had known about these, the spokes on these, you're going to want to check these out after you've ridden it a little bit and tighten them up. Get a little spoke tool, spoke wrench off Amazon. They're less than $10. I noticed some noise coming from the bike. At first I thought it was, the chain, and it was after I started putting heavier loads on there. When I had the heavy loads, I would notice this noise. Kind of sounded like a little bit of grinding. Without the load, I didn't notice a noise. And then I figured out it was the spokes, and I didn't have a spoke wrench available. So I ordered one, and before I got that in and could tighten them up, I actually lost a couple spokes, and it was kind of a pain in the butt to replace those. You want to check the tension on those and make sure that they're snug. Since I've replaced those spokes, I haven't had any issues, and I just check it every once in a while. As far as cargo carrying capacity, that's going to be your big thing with this bike. I use it with my family, so I need to be able to have different solutions to go places and carry a bunch of stuff, kind of like this would be like the minivan of e-bikes. So what I did was actually on here right now, you'll see I've got a seat that I created, and I've got a support board here that is a solid piece of pine board that's 3 feet long. The rack is actually 2 feet long on here, and this allows me a lot of creativity about what I'm doing. This is my typical configuration. My 7-year-old daughter I'll have ride on here. My 10-year-old's big enough to ride the electric, but you just kind of want to be creative. The rack itself takes M5 bolts, and then I use my own combination of different things. But right now, I can take this off. I can throw on another seat here, move that one up a little bit, and put this back here like that. Or sometimes now, I've also got a grocery shopping video where I do 2 of these Instacarts, but now I've been using the 27-gallon tote for that. But there is a lot of capacity. I'm thinking about building a trailer so that, if I need to bring even bigger stuff with me. Security on this bike, You're going to want to secure it, obviously. I do use one of the alarms that you can find on Amazon, just a bike alarm that when anyone messes with the bike, so now I've armed it. If anyone messes with the bike, it will first, emit a warning, and then if they continue to mess with it, it's gonna, sound off. And it's pretty loud. I think that's pretty handy for, just short running in somewhere. Uh, these bikes are pretty wide. I don't see how you could use like a normal D-lock with these. You don't want to use like a wire lock. Those things you can just clip right through. What I found and what I'm using is a noose lock that I found on Amazon that does have a solid gold rating, and it's not kryptonite because the kryptonites are super expensive. But the great thing about the noose locks is you get a lot of room to attach to something. Safety is going to be a big issue on any of these e-bikes. Years ago I used to ride a motorcycle and took a safety class, and some of that stuff has come in handy, but just a few things that you'll want to know if you're not familiar. People in cars do not expect you to be going as fast as you're going on an e-bike. They're used to people traveling 12 to 15 miles per hour on a bike, so you need to be constantly aware of that because they think they have more time to pull out or pass or do whatever it is they want to do. You want to be scanning ahead all the time. People coming out from driveways, especially if you are going the opposite direction on the sidewalk. People coming out of their driveways aren't looking your way. So just be super careful. Generally, you're not going to have issues, but one of the benefits of this is, at least in my state and locality, you can ride on the road, you can ride on the sidewalks, you can ride on bike trails, and I really get anywhere I want to go just as fast, if not faster, than I do in my car most of the time. Another thing you want to consider is just being cordial to other people, who are walking or riding other bikes. Because it can be a little nerve-wracking to them if you come up behind them and zoom past them. Just don't do it, and most people will have problems with the e-bikes. As far as support, so this is a direct, from China company that you're ordering from. So you're not going to be spoon-fed like you are if you buy an e-bike at a local shop. That's just the way it is. There's a great Facebook group, the KBO Bike Owners Group, and people share all sorts of information. I've helped people out, people have helped me out, and it's a great resource. As far as the company itself, my experience, whenever I've needed anything, questions, they've gotten back to me pretty quickly. When I first got the KBO Breeze in, the headlight wasn't working. They got back to me quickly and shipped me out a headlight. However, it did take a little while to get to me. Some people have had negative experiences, so you should take that into account. Any e-bike shop should be able to work on this if you need it, but for some people that may be a deal breaker right there. I have had people who have other bikes that they bought locally, and they're kind of mesmerized with this bike. There was a gentleman at the farmer's market who had a Turn cargo bike, who was just very interested in this bike. Where is it from? And I didn't have the heart to tell him that you could have bought 4 or 5 of these for his one Turn cargo bike, but that's just the way it is. So if you do need support, just keep that in mind. If you have some tinkering ability, that may come in handy, and there's lots of people out there available to help you. I really enjoy riding this as, around town. I mean, people in cars, are jerks, but most of them are not. But I don't recall getting anywhere on this bike in these 500 plus miles that I've ridden where I've been stressed out when I got there. I've had a few stressful moments where people have done stuff that, you know, are aggravating, but not like in my car where you're just, you know, anxious when you get somewhere. So it's been a great bike for me. I hope that if you do get one, you know, it works out for you. If you hop on that KBO group, you may be able to find someone that can let you try it out. You know, don't decide right away, but if you're buying something, you know, sight unseen that you haven't been able to personally try, you know, you want to research it as much as possible. This bike is easy to ride. It is heavy. All the e-bikes are heavy. And it is a bit different than a normal bike. There's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. So I'll probably do another update when I get to 1,000 miles. If you have any questions for me, certainly, you know, feel free to comment. I have added a few things aftermarket. You definitely want to get some mirrors, at least one. Thinking I want to add a second one, although I don't wish I had one most of the time, but sometimes I do. Phone mount, of course. Put some tire pressure gauges on there, and then my cargo loading capacity. I've also changed out the boards, and this is actually, you know, some aged wood that I put on here with some spray paint. But this bike has been great. Hopefully I'll get you know, many more miles out of it. It's certainly paying for itself in gas. You know, gas is expensive everywhere, and this is fun. My kids love it. You know, I love going around. Figure out what your usage case is before you buy a bike, and you should be pretty happy with the purchase. So, thanks for your time.